Hello Nigerians, you're welcome to the newspaper review here on TAF TV, where you get to see and hear every single reaction of Nigerians regarding the headlines that are making rounds on our newspaper. Hey yo, Kames is my name. Like, you know how we do it here, we hit to the street and hear the reactions of Nigerians regarding the headlines as it keeps unfolding. Alright, just like we always do, let's get to the papers and see what the papers has for us today. Alright, first on our headlines today, we're considering the Punch. And the bold headline here says, Chinese firm targets Nigerians' assets in 8 countries. Details of that is found on page 2. Sub-story under the Punch says, harvest season reduces food inflation to 39.5%. Details of that is found on page 19. And on page 21 of the Punch it says, federal government eyes pension funds in $500 billion bond in insurance. Details of that is found on page 21 of the Punch. Federal government tightens borders surveillance as case hits 39. You can read that up on page 15 of the Punch. Now, sub-story under page 15 says, court orders forfeiture of Emefiele'S 2.4 million Lagos Delta assets. Like I earlier said, you can read that up on page 15 of the Punch newspaper. Alright, moving on, still on the Punch, we're seeing Obaseki 6 arms mop-up ahead of government pool. Details of that is found on page 27. Timber kills motorcyclists on Anambra Road. Quite a sad story here, still on page 5. And lastly on the Punch, we're seeing Delta OK's land for petroleum varsity is found on page 27 of the Punch. Alright, next we're considering the New Telegraph. And the bold headline here says, POX NCDC places Lagos, Abuja, others on red alert as Nigerian records 39 new cases. Details of that is found on page 2. Now, sub-story under the New Telegraph saying, strategic deliberate research development stops skills on exodus in Africa, says Tinubu. Details of that is found on page 3 and page 4 of the New Telegraph. NJC recommends Kekeri Ekum to succeed Ariwola as CGN. Details of that is found on page 4. A very interesting story here on page 29. It says, court orders temporary forfeiture of $2 million land properties, shares linked to Emefiele. You can read that up on page 29 of the New Telegraph. Bauchi governor seeks federal government intervention for flooding in 5 local governments. Details of that is found on page 28 and page 29 of the New Telegraph. Moving on, we're seeing Chinese firm trying to fraudulently seize Nigerians' assets, says presidency. Details of that is found on page 3 and page 5 of the New Telegraph. Invasion, NLC threatens strike if federal government, police fail to apologize. Details of that is found on page 4. Sub-story still on the New Telegraph. It says, for 13 years, aviation agencies operated without governing board. Details of that is found on page 3. Moving on, we're seeing on page 2, it says, inflation dropped by 0.8% points, settled at 33.4% in July. You can read that up on page 2 of the New Telegraph. Now, lastly on the New Telegraph, it says, Tinubu addresses shortfall in road destruction, says Umahi. You can read that up on page 2 of the New Telegraph. Alright, lastly for today, we're considering the Daily Sun. And the bold headline here says, federal government fights back over seized presidential jet. Details of that is found on page 6 and page 22. Now, sub-story under the Daily Sun says, air peace. We will respond to Nigerians' threat to bar our airlines soon. UK's government. Details of that is found on page 23. Moving on, still on the Daily Sun, it says, flood wreaks havoc in 27 states. Details of that is found on page 26. Hunger protests. APC accuses Kanu government for funding violence in the state. You can read that up on page 27, still on the Daily Sun. Federal government adopts new strategies to tackle IPDC, that is the internally displaced persons, refugees, and challenges. Details of that is found on page 6. Still on the Daily Sun on page 20, it says Nigeria, Equatorial Guinea signs 2.5 billion gas pipeline agreement. You can read that up on page 20. Clark to Tinubu, implement 2014 Comfort Report to unite Nigerians. Now you can read that up on page 27 of the Daily Sun. Alright, lastly on the Daily Sun we are seeing genocide threat. Igbo leaders indicate governors alert international community. Details of that is found on page 27 of the Daily Sun. Alright, that's all we'll be taking regarding the headlines that are making round this very day. Let's hit to the street and hear the reactions of Nigerians regarding these headlines. Do well to stay tuned.
Good morning.
It's good to have you around.
Same here.
All right, now quickly on the punch. All right, quickly on the punch. It says on page 15, a very interesting story. It says court orders forfeiture of Emefiele'S 2.4 million Lagos Delta assets. Now we are back to should I say an old news, because Emefiele'S case has been ringing bells for a long time. So don't you think? Let's speak it from this angle. Don't you think it is high time we draw conclusions to Emefiele'S case?
Okay, like you rightly know, our country, Nigeria, they'll keep dangling, playing, dribbling with this particular issue. To me, it's not an issue. It's something that we could have come to a conclusion of a Emefiele issue before this time. But I would still raise a case that if the federal government think or feel or believe they're fighting corruption, making Nigeria a better one, his case it's quite clear that he should face the consequences.
Don't you think he has actually faced the consequences enough? And owing to the fact that he's the only one of late being held responsible for the act, but there's a claim of late that he's not the only one behind this. We are yet to get a seconder to this case. Don't you think they should actually drag out some persons out?
Yes, truly. If Nigerians or Emefiele as accused want to fish out the big fishes inside the river, you get to understand that even him as a person is just a minor player in the role of this fraud. So if truly him himself or the federal government want to do the needful, want to sanitize the system, he himself should be able to fish out everyone behind this money, because the money we are talking about is our money. The money we are talking about is good enough to take care of all Nigerians for years. Understand? So we're talking about billions and billions and billions of naira. Yes.
Right now, still talking about seizing properties. Of late, we have seen Chinese firm target Nigerians' assets in 8 different countries. Now, just like the case of this Emefiele, EFCC are saying they will seize his Lagos properties Delta, and here, all of a sudden, away from Nigeria, Chinese is threatening to seize our properties from 8 different countries. As a Nigerian, how do you feel about this headline?
Okay, sis, frankly speaking, as a Nigerian, I strongly believe we are a country that we are blessed. When I mean we are blessed with a lot of natural resources, funds and all of that. So if a country like China is threatening to seize our properties around 8 countries, like rightly said, like the headline said. So to me, I'm not worried, because if they seize 8, we have, I mean we have enough. So to me, it's nothing out of what we have. So like our leader, I believe they are not panicking, because I know if they seize those properties, the next minute they can easily acquire thousands and millions of those properties. So to me, it's not a threat, because I know we are blessed, we have the money. So what I feel, those countries, I know Nigeria is owing a lot of countries, like I know. So if we are owing countries like China, which I know we are owing them, so if they see any little opportunity to grab some of our wealth, please let them go ahead, because we have them. So they should go ahead and begin to retrieve their properties back. Yes.
So now, if you are affirming as a Nigerian that we have properties, but we are blessed as a nation, no doubt. So why then do Nigerians actually complain about the hunger?
Yes, it is a very good point from you. Why we are complaining of the hunger, it's very simple. Imagine the wealth of Nigeria, out of 100 is in the hands of 2. Understand? So the wealth of Nigeria is in the eyes of two. So we definitely complain because the 98 we are talking about doesn't have nothing. Understand? Imagine talking to you, a graduate, more than 9 years, no job. Keep me in school for 6 years with my money and all of that, telling me that at the end of the 6 years I will be secured with a good job to take care of myself and my family, and it all turned to blah blah blue blue. And so what we are talking about is Nigeria is blessed. Nigeria, the whole world knows that Nigeria is blessed, but our resources, our wealth is in the hands of two persons. Understand? Out of so the 98% persons is complaining, crying of hunger.
So now, do you think in due season, like there will be, just like our president keeps saying, there will be some level of renewed hope to the channeling on how it is going to set?
I will not allow you to land in that very point, because that is just story upon stories upon stories. It's just like it's a drama. It's a drama. So we are sick and tired of this drama. We've been hearing this for years. Since the age of 9, I've been hearing this. So instead of things to get better for us growing up to be the youth or the leaders of tomorrow, we still seeing ourselves suffering with the hands of old and sick men. Understand? They have done. Yes, it's high time, because if we keep on believing that God will change it, my dear, let's change that narrative of God will make it change. We can make it change. How do we make it change? It's for us to hit the street. For let's stay in the street, sleep in the street, for the government to know that excuse me, that we are not happy. We are not happy. We are tired. So all these are stories. The truth is, they should make things work. If they really want the country to work, just in the next, everything will start working out. The truth is, they don't want to make it work. Understand? Thank you very much.
Thank you. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, my brother.
Right now, quickly on the Daily Sun, as an elder statesman, he says on page 6 and 22, federal government fights back, overseas presidential jet. Now, as an elder statesman, do you think this is this particular headline actually makes a positive meaning?
Why not? It make meaning.
Okay.
It make meaning.
Now, do you think it is actually timely, like compared to how things are going on in the country now? Now, the Chinese are threatening to seize our properties based on the agreement that we Nigerians actually failed to adhere to. Do you think it is okay for them to do like that?
Nigerians already, Nigeria is gone. You understand? Nigeria is gone. To me now, it's for us to share this country.
Okay.
It's for us to share this country because the president know that the president was born in this country, so it's not new in the country. So it's about know when you are coming into a seat.
Okay.
It's about know this is what and what I will do, but nothing is going on. So this country is good for us to share. That is my own opinion.
Okay,
the country is good to share.
So now, do you think before now this government actually had a plan for Nigerians?
These people have no plan. The set of people here have no plan in this country at all. They don't have us in heart. Look at the fuel now, it's going to 1,000 naira. Then imagine during Jonathan and Yaradua. Look at their government, Obasanjo government. Look at this APC government.
Quite different.
Quite wrong people. They are wrong.
But the president is saying that it is based on the economy of the world, that we are not the only ones suffering this thing now. Everybody is facing it. Like this thing is happening globally.
Go to South Africa, guys. See. Go to South Africa. What they are selling 5 naira is still remain 5 naira.
Okay.
Then why Nigeria here every time is different? So that is the problem we are having here. In fact, the right people is not on the seat. That's the only problem we have. The right people is not on the seat. You see that the earth here now, the people that govern us here now, they are wrong people. They are wrong. So it's better for us to bring God. Let us forget all this bribing and corruption. we are born in bribe. Every great bribing. Nigeria. Donald Trump said they have to colonize Nigeria back again. Yes, that's what Donald Trump said. Say they have to colonize Nigeria back again. I could remember when Mama Gaddafi was telling Nigeria, say Nigeria is due to Shia. They say he's a madman. He's a madman. Look at the problem now we are. So let us, you see, there is nothing we can do. It's for us to change this government. We have to change this government.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thank you, my brother.
Right. Yeah, good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Okay, now quickly, as a patriotic Nigeria, before we talk about the headlines, how has this country been for the past 1 year?
It has been good. It has been so good for us. We have been managing ourselves the way we see it. But all this time we are saying changing presidents, things are becoming so hard for us. Me now hearing that China, they want to attack. They want to seize our property in Nigeria, our Nigerian properties. Me, I don't understand. People they are owing them is our federal government. Our president is people that are supposed to know what is going on. For we poor masses, we don't know anything about it.
So now, make I ask you quickly now. If you say it is okay for our federal government to fight back, since now our property, if you say it is okay for them to fight back,
I will not say okay. It's for them to fight back, because when they fight back, they will not be the ones to
actually
face the problem. It's the poor masses that will face it. So I will not say for them to fight back. The only thing that I will say here is that let them settle this issue. Let them settle.
Affect common man.
Yes, let them settle the issue.
Now, I want to make you like express yourself for the let's say hope day for Nigeria.
Hope day for Nigeria.
Okay.
Hope we have very serious hope for Nigeria that things is going to be well again. That's what I know.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.